Well, hello there, and welcome to this episode of the Terri Cole Show. This is going to be a very personal episode of the show, and I don't think I've shared this story itself publicly, but it's something that is near and dear to my heart, and it's about my journey with skin cancer. And it is a cautionary tale. So if you're someone who knows you should be using SPF on your skin when you go in the sun, but you still don't, this is for you, my friend, because I don't want you to experience what I experienced. So in this episode, I'll be sharing my journey with skin cancer and things that you can do, resources, ways that you can become more educated about how to protect yourself from having skin cancer. So hey, if you happen to be new to my channel, welcome. Please introduce yourself in the comments because we are a friendly group. Make sure that you also hit the bell. Make sure that you subscribe because I roll out new stuff every Tuesday and Thursday, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. If you are new, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, and the author of Boundary Boss, which you can get at boundarybossbook.com. And I love to shine a light on your comments because we are such an active group here on YouTube. So today I am featuring a comment from Kelly, and this is under the episode called Is Forgiveness Overrated? Do This Instead. And Kelly says, thank you for your amazing teachings. You've changed my life. Well, Kelly, you are the reason, and all of you are the reason I do what I do. So that really warms my heart, and I appreciate you saying so. So now let's move into today's content. In probably 2011 or 2012, I noticed that a patch of skin on my nose was behaving weird. So when I would dry my face, I had a tendency to dry my face too hard on a towel, but then I noticed that it would bleed a little bit, and I thought, oh, maybe I scratched it, maybe I did something. I was not concerned in the beginning, and after a while, I'd say a number of months, this was happening. It wouldn't happen every time, but it was happening frequently enough that I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. I went to a skin doctor in New York City, and immediately the guy said, that's nothing. There's nothing that's very common. There's nothing. I said, okay. So he looked at the other things, and there was nothing. Okay, so went on with my life. And then it kept happening, and I kept noticing it. And I went to another doctor about a year and a half after that, and the same thing. And I'm not being all like gender weird, but both of those doctors were men. And I have to say, my concerns were not necessary. They were kind of like, it's fine, little lady, a little bit. That was my feeling. But at the time, here's the thing. You don't want there to be something wrong with you, right? You don't want there to be a problem. I'd already been through other kinds of cancer in my life. Like, I just wanted to feel like I was doing my due diligence by going. So then maybe only 9 months goes by this time. And now it's happening more frequently where I'm drying my face and it's bleeding a little bit. So then the thing would heal. And again, it wasn't huge. It wasn't oozing anything. It wasn't being completely, totally weird where you'd be like, oh my God, there's something wrong. But it was just not normal. And I finally chose a female dermatologist in New York City. And I went in to see her and I showed her and I said, I'm really concerned about this. I think it needs to be biopsied. And she was like, I completely agree. Let's do it. And immediately it comes back and was a basal cell carcinoma. So now this means that it is the most common kind of skin cancer. And it's very rare that this kind of skin cancer moves to other parts of the body. Of course, it's possible. So now I need to have a procedure. So the procedure is a Mohs procedure, is what they call it. And this means that what I needed to do was set this up. I went to a hospital in the city where you're going to be wide awake. They're going to numb you locally, they call it, where they're just doing it with needles, right? So they're numbing you with like a type of a Novocaine that goes into your skin. And they're going to take a chunk of this chunk where they see the skin was acting weird off your face and bring it to the lab right then and there. So they go through this process. And what they're doing is they want to see if they got the margins. Did they take enough of the cancerous skin off for you to be safe, basically? So with Mohs procedure, you go into a waiting room. They put a bandage on the wound that they have created, and you go into a waiting room because it has to go to the lab to see. So I was fortunate that the margins were big enough so I didn't have to go back in and go under the knife a second time. But so then they just closed me up. You do have to go back in. Now they're going to suture, actually stitch up the incision where they took the skin cancer away. And that takes a minute. And, there's more Novocaine. And here's the thing. Listen, none of this was like super horribly traumatic. But, it's a whole thing that you have to do. And if I didn't have health insurance, it would have been extremely expensive to do, right? So then I heal from that. Takes X number of months and I did share a little bit of this at the time on social media. But what I didn't do is I didn't have the incision closed by a plastic surgeon, which is what I should have done. And part of it is that I felt very overwhelmed. My father had also had skin cancer, and it didn't move to anywhere else in his body, but he had multiple surgeries to remove this. And because I still had that, fear of cancer, because I was diagnosed with cancer years earlier, but it was thyroid cancer, 2 different kinds. I had a really not great experience with cancer in my younger life. I think there was a part of me that I just wanted it off of my body. In hindsight, I would have had it closed by a plastic surgeon, because then what ended up happening is 4 years after the fact, it was becoming obvious that the scar was not closed by a plastic surgeon, and it was becoming more and more visible, and it was sort of spreading. It was a weird thing where I could cover it with makeup, but there was an indentation that I thought did not look great. So I went to a plastic surgeon. Now that means they have to reopen the scar, right? They're literally cutting your face open so they can suture the skin together in a way that is much more visibly pleasing. So I did that. So it was a long, drawn-out experience that I could have lived without. Now, I thought I had decent sun care habits, but really, when I really thought about it, I think I thought they were better than they actually were. After this experience, though, they became very good. So I have all of the SPF stuff. So let's talk a little bit about when to be concerned. And again, for clarity's sake, and I'll write this everywhere on this blog and this podcast. P.S. I'm not a dermatologist, right? I'm also not an MD. I'm sharing with you from the patient experience what happened for me, in hopes that I can inspire you to take good care of your skin and to be safe and to take it seriously, because I don't think I did take it seriously until something really happened to me. Even though I was a cancer survivor by that point, I would use SPF, but not diligently the way that I needed to. So again, I'm not giving you any medical advice. I'm giving you safety advice that has been given to me and that I've been doing over the past X number of years since this happened. So that's just for clarification for all of us as to where we are. The kind of cancer, basal cell carcinoma, as I said, that I had was and is one of the most common skin cancers that is diagnosed. And it happens to be a slow-growing skin cancer that rarely moves, right? This is what they say at the Mayo Clinic. It rarely moves to another part of the body. But there are other ones, so squamous cell carcinoma, melanoma, and Merkel cell carcinoma. All of those are more serious and more scary. But here's the thing. The most important thing that you can do is early detection. That's the most important thing. And that starts with self-examination. So you need to really look at your skin. All of your skin, all between your toes, everywhere, between your butt cheeks, really. Have someone else look there, because I don't know that you could do that. But you could get skin cancer anywhere. It isn't just the parts of your body that are exposed to the sun. Don't, think that the bottom of your feet don't matter because they're not in the sun. They do. Get really clear. I mean, the statistics say that 1 in 5 Americans will develop some form of skin cancer during their lifetime. So you want to get to know every square inch of your own body. Be familiar with your moles, freckles, birthmarks, right? Check your skin monthly. This is what is recommended by dermatologists. And you're so much more likely to be aware if anything changes in your skin. So you need to keep a record of your findings, right? So it's like you can create what they call a body map. And I'll put all of this, you guys, don't worry, and other resources in the guide, terricole.com/guide. So it's really, you're just making a basic diagram of your body and where your moles are. Where are their birthmarks? Where are their things? And you're going to be looking like where are the margins of those things? You really want to look at what they look like, approximate size, if you have a lot of them, the color and the date. You're going to use that map, which I'll give you the instructions in the guide, every month. And that you're going to log your findings, basically recording what is going on. This is the easiest and the most effective way to identify new spots or changes in existing marks that you have on your skin. And really, with each self-exam, you will become more and more familiar with like what is normal, right? So anything unusual will really quickly, you'll be like, oh, I definitely don't think that was there. And then you can have that checked out by a doctor. Listen, you have to know your skin, right? And if you're prone to freckles or moles, it's harder to determine. And I have a lot of, you could have sunspots, you could have moles and freckles, and I have all of them, even with, I use a very high SPF pretty much all the time. I mean, hands are very important, especially if you drive, right? One of my sisters lives in North Carolina, and even though she's putting SPF on her face and her chest area, she ended up having a suspicious thing removed from her arm because she drives all the time with her arm out the window. So I have driving gloves, I have SPF shirts that I wear all the time. The hats that I wear when I walk are all SPF. Now, I'm also vain, right? There's a part of me. So I don't like the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see, right? When I put my SPF on my face and my chest and my arms, for sure, no matter what time of year it is, make sure that you are treating your hands the same exact way that you are treating your face. Take as good care of your hands in respect to exposure, because they're the things that are exposed so much. And I will give you a list of products that, like the driving gloves that I have, they're very inexpensive, that I think I just got on Amazon, that I like, and the clothing that I wear that I like. But this is stuff that you can really get pretty much anywhere. But I did a lot of extensive research, and my sister helped me to figure out what people say are the most effective. What are the best ones? Make sure you're not looking at an ad on Google because they'll tell you they're the best ones. But I always look and see what are the reviews and what do people say. And I like Consumer Reports as well to get my information about what is most effective. So what we're looking for, and this is something that I learned years ago. It's commonly referred to as the ABCDE rule of checking your skin. You're checking for, A is for asymmetry. So if half a mole or a birthmark doesn't match the other half, that's something to be aware of. B is for border. You're looking for irregular, jagged, blurry, or notched edges around something that you're seeing on your skin. C is for color. If there's non-uniform color in a mark, that includes different shades of black, brown, red, white, pink, or blue patches. It could be any one of those colors, but we're looking for non-uniformity is an indication that something should be checked. D is for diameter. If the growth is more than 1/4 of an inch in diameter, about the size of a pencil eraser, they say, that should be checked. And E is for evolving. The mole is growing or changing color or shape or acting weird, like mine was, right? There was something, my skin was acting weird. I was drying my face, and then not every time, but sometimes it would bleed. And in the beginning, I thought it was me. I'm just drying my face too hard. No. There was something weird about that skin, which was skin cancer, which we don't want. So listen, that is not a hard and fast medical, like this is the only thing that will tell you if you have something to be worried about, but it is an easy rule. I'll include it in the guide, the ABCDE rule of checking your skin for skin cancer. Part of what you want to look about, what are ways that you can take care of yourself? You want to make sure that you stay in the shade. And if you're still sunbathing, please don't. That just has to be so 1989. It's over for that, You can love the sun. It's safe to stay in the sun for a certain period of time a day. It's good for your vitamin D production. We all know that, right? But you really, at this point, the sun is so strong, and it depends on where you live, how strong it is, but staying in the shade is a good idea. Wearing clothing that covers your arms and legs. I say wear SPF clothing because why not? Wear a hat with a wide brim. I actually have, listen, you know that you're not 25 anymore when your clothing is all about protecting you, right? I actually wear this white visor, and you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, I literally don't care. I look like someone's auntie, I don't even know. It's not cool. It's not fashionable in any way, shape, or form. And I literally do not give a crap. This is how you know, like you're just so past it. Because really, what I really don't want is skin cancer. More than I care about the way that I look. I'm always wearing hats in the sun, but this happens to be one of the, it's actually like just the brim of a hat. That is so somebody's grandma in Atlantic City walking on the boardwalk right there. I do not care. Wear sunglasses that wrap around if you can, that block both the UVA and the UVB rays. Check into that. I also, back in the day, this is now 20 years ago probably, I had this odd growth in my eye. It happens a lot with people with lighter blue eyes, maybe other people too, but the eye doctor said, hey, this is more common. And he's like, that is from sun exposure, because I used to never like to wear sunglasses. And it was something that you could get removed. And he said, listen, we're not going to remove it because it was close to the iris, right? The color of my eye. But it was noticeable. And it was like a yellow bump in my eye. It was kind of gross. And then the eye doctor said, hey, wear polarized sunglasses. Do not be in the sun without wearing sunglasses that are protecting you from all the kinds of rays. And actually, it on its own went away. So I wear good sunglasses. I bought these sunglasses 15 years ago and I have not lost them, which is a miracle. Just Ray-Bans, but they're polarized and they protect from all the rays. That's just another side note of how the sun can damage your eyeballs, not just your skin. Okay, moving down to using SPF. So use a broad spectrum sunscreen and a sun protection factor. So doctors say SPF of 15 or higher. Again, keep in mind, you guys, I'm not a doctor. I just don't want you getting skin cancer. So I'm sharing my experience in hopes that those of you seeing this, watching this on YouTube, or those of you listening to it, that you will take it very seriously. If you have anything that looks weird on your skin, please go see a doctor. This can be scary things. Melanoma itself can be very dangerous. I heard of someone 38 years old, only 6 months ago, who let something go on their arm and it moved and they died from cancer. It's scary. So I'm not trying to be shocking to you. This is not shocking because if you watch the news at all, you know that it's true. But it's easy to either be dissuaded the way that I was by doctors who say nothing's wrong. If your gut instinct says something is wrong, you must go with that. So really look, if you have any part of your body, your skin that is acting weird or anything that is bigger than 1/4 of an inch or any of those things that I said, please go get yourself checked out. And in the meantime, young people, hey, you know what? You're not going to be young forever. And take care of your skin now if you want your skin to look good later, if there's a vanity thing in there. But I also just want you to live and be healthy and not deal with, that Mohs procedure, having the surgery twice. This is not the end of the world. People have gone through way worse, but it wasn't fun. And I certainly wouldn't want you to have that experience. So I hope this little PSA on skincare and, the signs and symptoms of weird skin and skin cancer was helpful to you. If it was, please share it with other people in your life who you think could use it. I created a nice guide for you, so you'll have all the recommendations from actual skin doctors who are not me, and that you can get that at terricole.com/guide. I hope this was helpful, you guys. So I hope you have an amazing week taking care of your skin. And as always, take care of you.